Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Well, your brain is more powerful than you think. But every day, something important slips away. A name, a date, a promise you made to yourself. You sit down to study, but the words don't stay. You try to remember a fact, but your mind turns blank. You read something twice, 3 times, but the meaning fades in seconds. You begin to think, maybe I'm not smart enough. But that's a lie. The truth is this: memory is not about being gifted. It's about being trained. And today, you'll discover how to train it. You'll learn simple, science-backed methods to remember anything faster. Whether you're a student, a dreamer, or someone trying to grow, these are not boring tips. They are techniques used by memory champions, tricks that can turn your mind into a sharp tool. This video is not just about remembering facts. It's about changing how you think, how you learn, how you grow. It's about finally feeling in control. Your brain doesn't need to work harder. It needs to work smarter. And once you unlock that secret, you'll never forget what matters again. Welcome to the moment everything changes. Your memory will become your weapon. Trick 1. Use visual pictures. Your brain is a powerful machine. But it doesn't work best with plain words. It works best with images, with things you can see in your mind. For example, if I say the word dog, what do you see? You don't imagine the letters D-O-G. You see a dog, maybe a big black one, maybe a small white one wagging its tail. This is how memory works. It's not about words, it's about pictures. Now here is the secret. If you want to remember something, turn it into a picture. Let's try a simple example. Imagine you have to buy milk, eggs, and toothpaste. Most people repeat the words again and again. But that doesn't help much. Instead, close your eyes and imagine this: a giant egg sitting inside a bathtub full of milk, brushing its teeth with blue toothpaste. Yes, it's strange. Yes, it's funny. But guess what? You will never forget that image. And that means you will not forget the list. This trick is not only for shopping. Students can use it to study. If you're learning about Albert Einstein, picture him with wild hair, floating in space, holding a clock. Want to remember the word volcano in English? Picture a huge mountain made of chocolate exploding with red-hot lava. The stranger and funnier your image is, the longer you will remember it. Even memory champions, the best in the world, use this method. They don't have a special brain. They have strong pictures in their minds. They make information look like a movie, and that's why they never forget. So next time you need to remember something, a word, a fact, a name, anything, don't repeat it like a robot. Close your eyes. Create a picture. Make it colorful. Make it funny. Make it unforgettable. Trick 2. Make a story. The human brain is not made to remember lists. It's made to feel, to imagine, and to connect. You don't forget your childhood home. You don't forget a heartbreak. You don't forget the sound of someone's voice when they said something that shook your world. Why? Because those things live inside a story. And your brain remembers stories far more than it remembers facts. When you try to memorize something the hard way, your mind gets tired. The words become noise. They enter your head and leave the next second. But when you wrap those words in a story, something changes. Now your brain sees images. Now it feels emotions. Now it understands the why behind the information. That's when memory becomes natural. This doesn't mean you need to invent fiction. It means you take what you're trying to remember, a list, an idea, a concept, and you link it to something that flows. Make it walk like a person. Give it movement. Build a connection between the facts and your real life. The more human it feels, the deeper your brain holds it. This is how memory works. It follows emotion. If it makes you curious, if it makes you laugh, or if it makes you feel something, it stays. That's the magic of stories. They enter your memory from the heart, not just the head. So next time you sit down to remember something, don't just look at it. Shape it. Breathe life into it. Let it become a small scene in your mind. A journey, a conversation, a moment. Because memory is not just about repeating. It's about feeling. It's about meaning. It's about turning information into something your soul won't forget. Trick 3. Teach it to someone. One of the most powerful ways to remember anything is to teach it. Not because you know everything, not because you're perfect, but because teaching forces your brain to organize. It pushes you to understand, not just repeat. When you teach someone else, you stop being a passive learner, and you become the one in control. When you explain something out loud, you realize what you truly know and what you don't. You begin to notice the cracks, the missing pieces, the things you thought you understood, but can't actually explain. And that's where the real learning happens. Because now, your brain starts working harder. It starts building bridges between ideas. It starts connecting dots. Teaching is not just about helping others. It's about helping yourself. It makes you active. It makes you sharper. It forces you to find simple words for complex ideas. And the simpler you make it, the deeper you understand it. That's how your memory grows. That's how knowledge becomes yours. Even if there's no one to listen, speak it aloud. Pretend. Whisper it to yourself. Explain it to the mirror. What matters is that your brain is hearing your voice, not someone else's. Because when the information comes from you, it sticks longer. It becomes part of you. So don't just read. Don't just write, teach, talk, share. That's how you turn a memory into mastery. Trick 4. Use the memory palace. Imagine your brain as a house with many rooms. And in each room, you place an idea, a fact, a word, a name, a formula. This is the memory palace. It's not magic. It's not new. It's a method that has been used for thousands of years. By philosophers, leaders, even champions of memory. Here's how it works. You take a place you know well, your home, your school, your favorite cafe, and you walk through it in your mind. In each room, you place a piece of information, not randomly, but with meaning, with images, with emotion. You turn that boring fact into something alive, something strange, something unforgettable. For example, instead of just trying to remember the capital of France is Paris, you might imagine the Eiffel Tower growing out of your kitchen sink. Sounds silly? That's the point. The brain loves strange. The brain remembers what's emotional, colorful, or weird. The memory palace is not about learning faster. It's about learning deeper. Because when you place information in a space you know, it sticks. When you see that room in your mind, the information comes back. Not just words, but images, sounds, feelings. This trick is more than a technique. It's a skill. And with practice, it becomes a superpower. So next time you're trying to memorize something, don't just repeat it. Place it, picture it, walk through it, build your memory palace, and you'll never forget where your knowledge lives. Trick 5. Repeat it loud. If you want to remember something forever, don't whisper it in your head. Say it out loud. Your brain listens more carefully when your voice is part of the learning. Silent reading is good, but loud repetition is powerful. It turns passive learning into active memory. When you speak the words with your mouth, your ears hear them. Your brain processes them in more ways, not just through the eyes, but through sound, rhythm, emotion. Think of it like singing your favorite song. You don't just read the lyrics, you feel them. You say them. You repeat them again and again until they become part of you. That's the same with knowledge. When you repeat a fact or a sentence with your voice, you give it energy. You give it life. You make it stand out in your memory like a shout in a quiet room. And don't just repeat it once. Repeat it in the morning, at night, while walking, while waiting. Say it when you're tired. Say it when you're excited. Say it until your brain gets the message. This is important. Don't forget this. Repetition is not boring if you do it with purpose. Say it with emotion. Say it with rhythm. Say it while moving your hands or walking around. Use your body, your voice, your emotions. Let the whole you learn it, not just your brain. So next time you want to remember a new word, a quote, a speech, a lesson, don't keep it locked in your head. Let it out. Say it loud. Say it proud. And say it again. That's how memories are built. One strong voice at a time. Trick 6. Break it into small parts, chunking. One of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to remember fast is trying to hold everything in their mind at the same time. When you do that, your brain becomes tired. It starts to feel heavy, full, and confused. That's when you forget things. But when you break the information into smaller parts, your brain feels free again. This process is called chunking, and it is one of the most powerful tools to speed up your memory. Your mind doesn't work best with big, long, complicated information. It works best when things are simple, short, and clear. When you divide something large into smaller blocks, your brain processes it faster. It no longer needs to search through everything. It finds the answer quicker. It understands the meaning with more focus, and most importantly, it remembers it longer. Chunking is not just about making things easier. It's about training your brain to work faster with more direction. It's about building a structure inside your memory so everything has a place. Every small part becomes like a piece of a puzzle, and when they come together, they form the big picture in your mind. That's how fast learning happens, by building your memory piece by piece, not all at once. When you practice this way of learning, you will notice that even hard topics begin to feel lighter. You stop feeling lost. You stop feeling overwhelmed. You gain control over what you're learning, and that gives you confidence. So if you want to remember faster, don't force yourself to take in everything at once. Train your brain to take it step by step. Small parts, clear focus, strong memory. Trick 7. Link it to something you already know. Your brain loves connection. It doesn't like to remember things in isolation. When you learn something new and it feels confusing or difficult, it's often because your mind has no place to store it yet. But the moment you link that new idea to something you already understand, it becomes easier to remember. It's like finding a home for the new information. When it has a place, it stays. When it doesn't, it gets lost. Think of your memory like a tree. Every fact you already know is a branch. When you learn something new and connect it to one of these branches, it grows a new leaf. The more leaves you grow, the easier it becomes to grow more. This is why connecting new knowledge to your past experiences or your current understanding makes remembering faster. It gives meaning to what you're learning, and meaning is what the brain holds on to. The beauty of this trick is that it makes learning feel natural. You are not forcing your brain to memorize something strange or unfamiliar. Instead, you are gently guiding it to connect with what it already feels comfortable with. That's why things click when you truly understand. Always ask yourself, what do I already know that feels similar to this? Find that link, build that bridge, and suddenly, your memory becomes not only stronger but smarter. Fast memory is not about learning harder. It's about connecting deeper. Trick 8. Use mind maps. When you try to remember too much, your brain starts to feel full. You read the same line again and again, but it doesn't stay. Why? Because your brain is not a storage box. It's not made to hold dry facts one after another. Your brain is more like a web, a system of links and ideas. It wants to understand how things connect. That's why mind maps work better. They speak the same language your brain speaks: structure, patterns, and flow. A mind map is not a list. It's a map, something that shows you the big picture. You begin in the middle with one idea, and then let your thoughts grow outward. You add small parts, and then more details. As you build, you are not just writing. You are shaping your thinking. You are creating a picture your brain can see, hold, and come back to. When you do this, the information doesn't feel heavy. It feels natural. It makes sense. This is why mind maps help you remember faster. You are not pushing things into your brain. You are building them from the inside out. And once something has a shape, your brain holds on to it. Think of it like a tree. The trunk is your main idea. The branches are the key topics, and the leaves are the details. You remember where everything is because it has a place. It's no longer just information. It's a memory path. And there's more. When you look at your mind map again later, everything comes back quickly. You remember not only what each word means, but how it links to the others. You feel the logic. You feel the order. The map shows you how the story goes, and that's something your memory loves. It's easier to recall something that makes sense than something you tried to force in. Mind maps are also gentle on your brain. When you open a book or a long page of notes, it can feel like too much. But one single mind map shows you everything without stress. It's open, light, and clean. It saves your time. And the more you use them, the easier they get. You will start to make mind maps for every subject, every topic, and soon it will become your favorite way to study. So next time you want to learn something fast, don't just copy lines or highlight texts. Close your eyes, think. Then open your notebook and start with one word in the center. Build around it. Let your thoughts move like branches. Let your brain breathe. That's how you create knowledge that stays. That's how you make learning stick. By drawing it out of your mind, not forcing it in. Trick 9. Use your body. Your brain is not a machine that works alone. It is connected to your body. When you move, your brain wakes up. It becomes more active, more focused, and more alive. But when you sit in one place for too long, your brain slows down. You feel sleepy. You feel stuck. You start to forget what you just learned. That's because the body and the brain are always working together. When you use your body while learning, something special happens. The memory becomes stronger. You remember faster. Even small movements like walking in the room, standing while repeating words, or using your hands to explain ideas. These movements send energy to your brain. It's like turning on a light inside your head. Everything becomes clearer. There is a reason why actors remember long scripts. They move, they walk, they feel the words in their body. This is called muscle memory. It is not just for athletes or dancers. It helps students too. If you learn while moving, your brain connects the information to the motion. That connection helps you recall the words later. Not just with your mind, but with your whole self. Even your posture matters. If you sit hunched over, tired and heavy, your brain feels the same way. But if you sit up tall, shoulders back, and take deep breaths, your brain becomes alert. You feel more ready. You think better. You learn faster. Movement brings blood to your brain. It brings oxygen. It helps your brain stay awake and sharp. So don't force yourself to stay still when studying. Get up every 20 minutes. Walk as you speak. Stretch your arms. Use gestures. Move your feet. When your body moves, your memory moves with it. Remember this. Learning is not just reading. It is feeling. It is moving. It is living. If you want to remember faster, invite your body into the process. Make learning a full body experience. That's how you make the memory stronger. Not just in your mind, but in your whole being. Trick 10. Write it by hand. In a world full of screens, writing by hand may feel old. But it's not. It's powerful. When you write something by hand, your brain works harder. It takes more time, yes, but that time builds memory. Every letter you form, every word you write, helps you remember. It becomes personal. It becomes yours. Typing is fast. It's easy. But that's the problem. Your brain doesn't have to work deeply when you type. You just press keys. You don't feel the words. You don't slow down to think. But when you take a pen, open a notebook, and begin to write, your brain wakes up. It focuses. It listens. It remembers. Writing by hand is not just about information. It's about connection. The slow movement of the pen helps you understand the meaning. You're not just copying. You are building a memory line by line. You give the words a shape. You feel them. And because you feel them, they stay longer in your mind. Many top students write summaries by hand. They don't just highlight or tap on screens. They rewrite what they learned, in their own words. This makes the brain work. It asks, do I understand this? And that question is key. It changes your memory. It makes it stronger. You don't have to write every single thing. Choose the important parts. Write what you want to remember. Keep a special notebook. When you write it, you own it. When you read it again later, you feel the moment you wrote it. And your memory comes back, not just as words, but as experience. Trick 11. Sleep after learning. Your brain never stops working, not even when you close your eyes at night. In fact, the hours when you are asleep may be the most powerful part of your learning journey. When you study something and then go to sleep, your brain takes that information and begins to organize it like a librarian arranging books. It moves new ideas into the right places and makes the memory stronger. This process is called memory consolidation, and it happens best during sleep. Many people believe that studying all night will help them remember more. But the truth is, when you are tired, your brain becomes slower, your focus breaks, and your memory becomes weak. Sleep is not a break from learning. It is a part of it. While your body rests, your brain is at work, building stronger connections, solving problems in silence, and making the things you've learned easier to recall the next day. That's why sleeping after learning is not optional. It's necessary. If you study a chapter, learn a new language rule, or memorize a speech, go to bed soon after. Don't flood your brain with distractions like phones or noise. Protect the silence after learning. Let your brain settle. Let your mind do the hidden work. Sometimes, the best way to remember more is to stop and rest. Because sleep is not forgetting. Sleep is remembering, but deeper, clearer, and forever. Trick 12. Ask questions. While studying. When you study, don't just read the words. Talk to them, challenge them, ask them questions. This simple act turns passive reading into active learning. The brain is like a muscle. It grows stronger when you make it work. And questions are weights that push your mind to think deeper, not just remember, but understand. For example, when you learn something new, don't just say, "Okay, I get it." Instead, ask, "Why is this important? How does this connect to what I already know? What if this fact was different?" These questions open doors in your brain. They make the information personal. And when something feels personal, the brain remembers it better and for longer. Asking questions also keeps your focus alive. It keeps your mind active instead of bored. You are no longer just a listener. You become part of the conversation. And when your brain joins the conversation, it creates stronger memory paths, stronger attention, and deeper understanding. So next time you study, don't stay silent. Talk to the page. Question every idea. Because the more you ask, the more your brain answers, and the more it remembers. Trick 13. Use your own words. Let it become yours. Also, one of the most powerful ways to remember something fast is to make it yours. That means not just repeating what you heard or what you read, not copying the exact sentence from a textbook, but instead taking that idea and saying it in your own voice. When you explain something in your own words, your brain says, "Ah, now I get it." Because understanding and remembering are two different things. You can memorize words without meaning. But when you recreate the idea in your own language, it becomes a part of you. It's like hearing a song and then singing it in your own voice. Suddenly, it's no longer just music, it's emotion, it's yours. When you study, don't just read silently, don't just highlight and underline. Close the book, look up, and say it out loud, like you're teaching it to someone else. You can even imagine you're speaking to a child or to your future self. Break it down. Simplify it. Tell it like a story. The more personal your words become, the stronger the memory becomes. This method is not just for school. It works for speeches, names, languages, ideas, even directions. Because your brain remembers your own voice more than anyone else's. And here's the secret. When you can explain something simply, it means you understand it deeply. And what you understand, you never forget. So stop trying to sound smart. Just try to own it. Make it yours. Your words, your way, your memory. Trick 14. Use the rule of 3. Because your brain loves patterns. Our minds are not just built to learn. They're built to recognize patterns. And one of the most powerful patterns your brain understands is the number 3. Think about it. We remember things better when they come in threes. Past, present, future. Ready, set, go. Mind, body, soul. There's a rhythm in 3, a balance. And when you want to remember something quickly, this rhythm can become your secret tool. So how do you use it? When learning something new, break it into 3 simple parts. Don't try to remember 10 facts at once. Don't overwhelm your brain with long lists. Instead, group things. Organize your notes, your ideas, your thoughts into 3 strong points. 3 steps, 3 keywords. Your brain will feel less tired. It will breathe. It will connect. Because with 3, there's just enough to challenge the mind, but not enough to confuse it. This rule is used by writers, teachers, and even leaders when they speak. Why? Because people listen better. They remember better. And when you apply this rule while studying, your memory becomes sharper, faster, and more natural. It's not magic, it's science. And it works. So next time you're trying to learn something difficult, pause. Ask yourself, what are the 3 most important points? What are the 3 steps I need to follow? Use the rule of 3, and you'll find remembering is no longer a fight. It becomes flow. Trick 15. Recall before you sleep. Let your memory work. While you rest, there's a special moment in your day. A quiet time when the noise fades, the lights go down, and your mind finally slows. It's the moment just before sleep. Most people use that time to scroll, worry, or think about random things. But if you learn to use it wisely, it can become one of the most powerful memory tools you have. Your brain doesn't stop working when you sleep. In fact, it does the opposite. It starts organizing everything you've learned during the day. It moves short-term memories into long-term ones. But here's the secret. The brain works best with what it remembers last. That's why what you focus on right before sleeping becomes important. If you take 5 minutes to recall, not reread, not review, but recall what you learned, your brain will hold on to it more tightly during the night. Lie down, close your eyes, and without looking at your notes, try to bring the lesson back to life in your mind. Picture it. Speak it in your head. Ask yourself, what did I learn today? Try to explain it to yourself as if you were teaching it. If you forget a part, don't panic. That's a sign your brain is trying. And that's good. When you do this, you send your brain a message. This is important, don't forget it. And your brain listens. While you rest, your mind continues working in silence, filing, connecting, strengthening. You may not feel it, but in the morning, your memory will be stronger. You'll remember faster, and it will feel easier. So tonight, instead of letting your thoughts drift away into nothing, bring them back to what matters. Use the silence of sleep to your advantage. Recall before you sleep, and let your mind remember while you dream. You are not forgetful. You are just not using the right tools yet. Today, we learned that remembering fast is not magic. It's a skill. You train it like a muscle. You build it step by step. Focus sharpens it. Mind maps organize it. Repetition locks it in. Stories and emotions bring it to life. Sleep protects it. Teaching others proves it. And silence, before bed, strengthens it in the dark. Now take these tools, practice them, mix them, use them again and again. Because the more you use your brain, the more it listens to you. You will stop saying, "I always forget." You will start saying, "I always remember." That's your new power. That's your new story. And it begins now. Start using these techniques today and watch how your mind transforms. And if this video helped you, don't forget to subscribe for more. Your journey has only just begun.